Hi there. Hey everyone. It's Coach Duquesa Dean dropping in on you again today with Safe Space Conversations. Listen, I'm always just so super excited to come and have these conversations, to interact with you, to, just get to know you a little bit more as you share your comments in the comment field, to get to know your thoughts, your ideas, to learn from you just as much as you're here learning from me. It is. I just get so excited when I have the opportunity to share with you. Just give me one second, please. And so, today we are on Safe Space Conversations talking about the fact that financial awareness is a form of self-care. And I also want to give some strategies on how to save. But before I even jump into all of that, if you are here and you have considered financial awareness or your finances as a part of self-care, drop in chat and let me know, or drop in the comments and let me know that you recognized it as such. And if you've never thought about financial awareness as a form of self-care, also let me know that in the comments as well. As we begin, I'd like to share with you that I've been in the coaching industry now, personal and development industry now, for well over 15 years, helping women specifically go from overwhelm and taking ownership of their lives. I've had so many success stories of women who were drowning that are actually now world class swimmers. But I don't want to talk about that yet. I want to talk about first how financial awareness is a form of self care. And I want to start by sharing a story about you. And this story is something that happened to me many, many years ago when I was still working in the corporate world. I vividly remember it. It was a Sunday. I was pressed for a deadline that was due the following Monday. And so I had worked all through that Sunday just trying to make sure that this project would meet its deadline. Now, when you work in the corporate world and you are responsible for departments or divisions, like weekends aren't necessarily your downtime. Like you're always switched on, particularly if you're working in a fast paced industry like I was working in at that time at the Atlantis Resort and Casino, the largest hotel in the Caribbean. Well, here I am working on this project and didn't have time to meal prep for the week ahead. Now, for those of you who know me, hey, Billy, so nice of you to be here. Now, if you know me, and Billy, I know you're getting to know me. And so you would learn that I love to cook for my family. I meal prep and I cook. We eat 95% of our meals out of my kitchen, made by my hands. But at this particular point in time, I was leading a division of one of the largest hotels in the Caribbean, and I was pressed for a project. And so I worked the entire weekend trying to get this project to meet the deadline. And that Monday morning, I was rushing out and recognized that I did not prepare the meals for my family for that week. So that meant that we had to purchase breakfast and lunch out on that particular Monday. Well, here it is. I'm leaving my house, lock my big brown door, threw my bags over my shoulders, and I walked down the pathway, hopped to my headhunters, turn the ignition on, car in reverse, and I just zoomed out of the highway. And those little home things that writing at myself and said to myself, I'm gonna get a coffee and donut on your way to work. So there it is, a coffee shop where I bought myself a white chocolate mocha, almond milk, I bought a oat muffin, and I spent $11 on that particular morning on my breakfast. I hopped into my car after purchasing my breakfast, zoomed to my work establishment, set myself up, and I mindlessly ate my muffin and drank my coffee. So here it is. That's Monday morning. Well, this was so convenient. So off I go Tuesday morning where I made the exact same purchase. So that was Monday, that was Tuesday, that was Thursday, that was Wednesday. It ended up being the entire week, believe it or not, Billy and Jackie, the entire week I spent $11 a day every business day for that week. So that's $55 because 11 times 5 is 55. So I want you to write that down, 55. Now listen to me. The customer service at this particular coffee shop was on point. And at the end of that year, yes, I just spoke about the fact that it was 1 week, 5 days a week. But I found myself at the end of that year having gone to that coffee shop every single business day, Monday to Friday, for a year. So, can we do the math? Can we just do the math on what that is? Let's say it's 365 days in the year. If we take out weekends, that's 4 days, 2 days times 4 weeks. 2 times 4 is 8. So that's 8 times 12. 8 times 12 is 96 days. 365 minus 96. So 269 days of the year, approximately, I spend $55 in a coffee shop. Well, at the end of the year, when I was doing my tabulation, recognized that I spent $4,915 in that coffee shop, almost a semester of my son's college fees. I almost had a heart attack. Now, here's the thing. During the course of the year, there were moments when I was strapped financially. There were moments where the mortgage had to be paid, or the life insurance had to be paid, or the car note needed to be paid, or college fees needed to be paid, or the energy bills needed to be paid. There were times during the course of that year when it was tight, but I did not sacrifice that $55 a week simply because I was in a routine. So my stress levels were high at the time when I didn't have the finances available to take care of all of my bills and responsibilities back then, maybe about 12 or 15 years ago. However, my mindless routine of going to this coffee shop every morning to make this purchase of $11 a day times 5 times a week, 55 times a week, $55 a week, did not get in the way, or I didn't pause to think I could use this $55 a week. If you multiply that $55 times 4, that ends up being $220 a month that I could have been using to alleviate my financial stress. Now, there are times when we say things like, girl, I deserve that coffee. Oh, I deserve that muffin. I deserve to spend $11 on myself. I deserve to treat myself. I agree. I am the queen of self care. I promote and encourage self care, and I encourage people to take care of themselves and do the things that are best for them, but not at the detriment of your financial health, your emotional health, or your mental health. And when your finances are out of whack, you cannot be mentally stable, you cannot be emotionally sound because you have all of these conflicting things pulling you in so many different directions. And so, whether you believe it or not, financial awareness is a form of self care because how is taking your resources from one area of your life, which is your paycheck, and putting it in another area of your life, which is in a coffee shop, working towards giving you financial peace? Is it giving you financial peace? Or could you say, once a week, I'm going to go to the coffee shop, and the next 4 days, I will allocate those funds to help alleviate some of my stress? So, financial awareness is a form of self help. And as we are in the middle of the 2023 year, many women are now reflecting on their goals, their financial goals, and they're perhaps even restructuring some of their goals to make sure that they can end the year strong. I'm one of those women who, at mid year, pause to really take a look at how I am progressing towards achieving my goals or not. Every person that has goals and dreams and micro steps plotted out has to take the time to pause to track to see how well they are doing and where they need to make adjustments. So, between the recession, political issues, global hardships, really it can be easy to fall into a number of mindsets. We can do the YOLO mindset where you only live once, and so you rack up debt, don't worry about the future. Or you can get into a scarcity mindset where you don't want to spend any money at all because you want to save it all in case of the apocalypse or copocalypse, whatever that thing is that we hear people talk about all the time. Or we can just find a medium where we can live in the moment while still preparing for the future, because there is a distinct difference between strategically saving and conserving funds and constricting your belt to the point where you're losing the enjoyment out of life. And I'm not here to encourage anyone to lose their joy out of life. As a matter of fact, I'm advocating for you to live a more balanced life. I do, however, recognize that there are sometimes times in our lives when no matter how high we climb the ladder of success in our careers, there's just never enough money to go around. I don't know if you've been there, but I've been at that place where it's like it's this constant hamster wheel of paying debt off and trying to provide for our loved ones and trying to take care of our own needs. It's like it's just this continuing pressure, ongoing pressure as it relates to our finances. Hey, Jackie, I appreciate you being there. Thanks for the encouragement today. I'm going to wrap this live up by sharing with you some steps, 6 steps to improve your financial self-care, because I've been toting this, take care of your mental state, take care of your emotional state, take your time off, breathe, have bubble baths, go for a massage. I've been sharing so many other wonderful ways of how to take care of yourself. And last week it hit me. Help women, people generally learn how to take care of themselves financially. So if you're feeling a little stressed out, I want to help you. If you this has never been a thought for you, financial self-care, then I'd like to help open your eyes today, because we often go through life in routines. We often go through life mindlessly, but we have to really take ownership. You have to take ownership of your life. You have to take ownership of your finances. You have to take ownership of your own self-care. So the first thing I want to encourage you to do, and these are things that I did at the end of that year, 12 or 15 years ago, I can't really remember which year. These are the steps that I took to bring myself back into financial harmony. The first thing I want to encourage you to do is to do a detailed audit of all of your expenses. That means that you're listing everything that you've spent, let's just say in the last 2 weeks, without shame, without judgment. It's just really a neutral place where you're saying, I want to know where my money is going or where my money has gone over the last 2 weeks. And I'm encouraging you to do 2 weeks because I don't want you to get overwhelmed by doing a month or 2 months or the entire year so far for 2023. I just want you to focus on the short term, past 2 weeks. Where has your money been going? And as you write these things down, don't chastise yourself, don't judge yourself. Knowing is half the battle. Type that in the comments for me, please. Knowing is half the battle. We want to know what our current position is. That is all. This is not to make you feel bad about how you spent. This is to bring an awareness of where your funds are going. And so many years ago, that's one of the things that my dad did. He said, you're stressed out financially because you haven't created a budget. You haven't really written down everywhere that your money has to go. And so when you pay out, it's just scattered. But if you were to write down all of your responsibilities financially for the month, you would know where your money is going. And at the end of the year, you'd be able to say that you spend 10% of your income on pleasure, 30% on housing, 20% on your car, 30% on college, but you'll be able to have a better idea of where your money is going. And if you don't like what you see, that is then the opportunity for you to make adjustments on paper, first of all. So audit your expenses. The second thing to do after you've audited your expenses, and we're talking about financial self care, is to go through that list and highlight the things that are nice to have and the things that you must have, because they're different. They are vastly different. It's nice to have 10 pairs of tennis, but I really only need one pair at a time. And so comb through the things that you wrote down so that you can determine what are the things that are nice to have and what are the things that must haves for you. Now, after you've done that, what I would encourage you to do, thank you so much, Jackie and Billy for typing that in the chat. After you have combed through and highlighted the must-haves and the nice to have, select one of the things in your nice to have category that you can reduce. For example, if you've been going to the coffee shop like me 5 times out of the week, 12 or 15 years ago, then you can say, okay, that's nice to have. Maybe I'll go twice a week. And so you begin to reduce what you're spending on your nice to have. And then you can take the balance of those funds and put that in your rainy day or in your saving to leave my job or in your saving for my retirement fund. And as you begin to build those funds, you'll begin to settle down a little bit more because you have financial awareness that you have funds going into your emergency fund, you have funds going into your retirement funds, your funds going into your how do I leave my corporate job and step into my passion full time. And so that's your third step. Your fourth step is to stick to that reducing of that item for at least 30 days. It said that 21 days forms a habit. So if for 30 days you can minimize that nice to have and put it in a more must have for your future account, that pattern is going to develop a routine for you. And when you develop that routine, then you'll be able to automatically make that transfer. Then I'd like to ask you to think about what are some of the things that you can invest in. A lot of times when we think about investments, we think that it must be massive amounts of money. My granddaughter is 6 years of age, and I remember 2 years ago buying a bunch of Christmas gifts. The Christmas tree was loaded with gifts for my granddaughter. And she opened the gift. She played with those items for a few minutes. The first week, they caught her attention. And after that, they were just a pile of toys on the floor. I don't know if that's happened to you. I don't know if you have grandkids. I don't know if you have other people that you purchase gifts for. But I can tell you, most children only have one or two favorite toys. So I said to myself, Self, you spent all of this money buying Christmas gifts and toys for this child, and she played with them for a maximum of a week and then took one that she enjoyed and continued playing with those. And that was a wake up call for me because it was a light bulb moment that came in my head. Stop buying her Christmas gifts and invest in her future. And so for the last 2 years, instead of purchasing massive amounts of gifts, I've purchased two really small, lower budget gifts. And the balance of the money that I would have spent on her for Christmas, I've actually put in an investment fund. She has stocks, she has bonds, she is 6 years of age. And so as she grows and develops and gets to the age of the bond maturity, she's going to be about 30. And so she'll yield a result from from the investment that's made today. And the bonds start at a $100 investment. So you can decide if you want to buy one, if you want to buy 10, but you can start small and then build up. I did the same thing for me and my husband. We don't purchase each other Christmas gifts, we make investments. So, how can you now begin to invest your money? What can you do? And it could be, and an investment could be something like a personal development course that you know you need to attend because you want to level up your game. It could be investing in training for your travel business. It could be investing in training for your corporate business. You want to certify yourself and elevate and evolve. That's an investment in yourself as well. Instead of just feeding yourself with coffee and a muffin. And it's really not a judgment. It is an alternate decision that can be made. So whatever that investment is that you want to make, the money that you are no longer using for the nice haves, you can actually deposit that so that you can accumulate the funds that you can invest in yourself. I hear women tell me all the time, Dukwasa, I cannot afford you. And the reality is, it's a choice. Like, we have to put our priorities in order. We would think nothing of spending $500 to buy the latest pair of Nike shoes, men particularly, than spending that $500 as an investment that would pay off time and time and time again. Get yourself a coach. Hire yourself an accountability partner or a coach, somebody that can help you streamline your life, even if it is a financial coach or getting a financial advisor. The sixth thing is at the end of 30 days, sit down and take a look at how well you did. You eliminated the nice have. You took the nice have and you put it in a fund or an account that would fund your investment in yourself or your future. So you want to look at 30 days, reflect on those days, and see how well you did. Time flies. And so 30 days is going to go by in no time. And this conscious approach to your finances and your commitment to looking at financial awareness as a form of self care will eventually pay off so that you can lead a rewarding and fruitful life. As I close our conversation today, many people ask me how I stepped out of the corporate world into my own business. And the remedy, this is what I did. I recognized that I didn't want to be in the corporate world anymore. It was stressful. I was being stifled. My creativity was being tied. I reported to old traditional bosses who only wanted to be stuck in one way of operating. They were technology challenged. They were old men who saw things black and white. I operate in shades of gray. And so I recognized that in order for me to live to my truest potential and to honor all of the creativity that the divine has implanted in me, I needed to work for myself. So I started executing my exit plan. I cut out every non essential payment, every non essential purchase. So that included cable TV, that included coffee store shops, that included the house phone, because who uses a house phone? Everyone's using a cell phone nowadays. That included eating out often. And so cutting back on all of those non essential things and taking that money and putting it in an account that I had labeled my dream. So every single non essential purchase was sacrificed, and those funds were placed in my dream account. At the end of 3 years, I had enough of a foundation in that dream account to give me financial stability to step out because it gave me a year's worth of expenses so that if for some reason during that course of 1 year I struggled, I would have this nest egg that would help me to be able to meet my obligations. That's what we do. We sacrifice short term for our long term gain. So if you're looking at your life and you say, my finances are a mess and I need financial self care, give yourself a financial audit. See where your money is leaking out. Then plug that leakage by identifying what your must haves are and what your nice haves are. Make sure that you eliminate those nice to haves as many as possible and put those funds toward your must have. I must build a certification to step into my dream. I must have 30,000 saved to be able to divorce my corporate organization and step into my own. I must, right? Whatever those must are, place those funds there. The next thing you want to do is to stick to that routine for a minimum of 30 days and form your habit. Once you're in the habit of saving and putting aside and building your investments, all that sort of stuff, review how well you're doing to see what else can be tweaked. When we control our finances, we're putting ourselves in a much better mental and emotional state. When I got married, one of the things that we were told during our marriage counseling is that most marriages are not destroyed by infidelity. Many people work through infidelity, but many marriages are destroyed because of financial situations. Finance is the number one reason why many people get divorced. And that is to tell you how important having financial awareness is. We must know what's leaking and how we're using or being a good steward of what we're having. So I really hope that this conversation gave some insight. And if it did, before I drop, please put one thing in the comment field that you've taken away from our conversation today that can help you get into a state of awareness about financial literacy as a form of self care. And while you're doing that, I would just like to drop a link for a YouTube video that I shared a while back about how to manage your finances so that you also have another resource available for you that you're able to use to strengthen this conversation that we're currently having. So let me just find that for you and I can drop that in the chat so that reasons, and it's entitled Reasons You're Losing Your Money Without Even Realizing It. So I'm going to drop that link in the chat for you that you can go over to YouTube. And if you're not following on me on YouTube, I'd be happy if you were to just click the like and subscribe button. There you go. So I've placed that link in the comment field for you to go over to that video for more resources. And if you do need at any point in time to have a conversation, if you'd like for us to sit down and maybe talk through, I can offer a 30-minute complimentary conversation to help you get to the core of the things that are most important for you. So I've dropped that in the chat for you as well so that you have that's not it actually, so that you have access to ways that you and I can get in contact with one another. So I will take a look and hopefully you'll put your one thing in the comment field that you enjoyed from our conversation today as I post this link, how you and I can have a coffee chat. As usual, thank you so much for hanging out with me today on your lunchtime break, 30 minutes of your lunchtime conversation. I look forward to reading your comments in the chat and to connecting with you again in the future. Listen, if no one has said to you today that you are special, that you are loved, that you are enough, take those words from me. You are enough. You are special and you are deserving of the life that you dream of. God bless you. Take care and see you on another safe space conversation in the near future. Take care, guys. Bye.